right.
Good.
Had to turn my volume down.
Oh. So we got a lot of this week and next week. You're good, right? When's your game start up?
Oh yeah, we have to find a new one to help out for what is it, next week? 2 weeks?
June 1st, I assume.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have 2 more weeks, and then we have to find someone. So.
Well, we don't. I mean, it depends on the topic too, right? It depends on a lot of, Hex activate secret. They always add stuff in. No, this is Streamlabs. They always add stuff in.
This does sound good.
And I'm like, what the heck is this?
It doesn't sound good.
So.
Yeah.
It's always something, isn't it?
Yep.
Monday.
Yeah. A bit different to have Monday busy with stuff like this.
Well, and sometimes we would do Gabbins on Mondays instead of Sundays, right? Sometimes we would do that.
It's been very rare. So
yep, true.
But this Monday worked really well. Often I'm busy on Monday night, but this Monday was perfect. I didn't have to reschedule anything. Shelves again because it's a mess. I've been pulling out stuff and then I just pile them up instead of putting them back.
There's stuff in.
Yep.
Yeah.
With the lives and everyone here.
Very
Live.
nice.
Not done much. Okay. Good. So. Oh, I can hear myself. No, I just gotta mute myself on. Oh, we got the raid already. Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had my headset off for like 30 seconds. I had to run back out real quick. Thank you very much, Mike and Taryn. Very kind of you. We're early in preludes here. I'll jump through the preludes here. Mikey, don't waste no stinking time. Yeah, that's okay. That was really nice. So yeah, we got a giveaway tonight too. So we got a really cool one. Some really good stuff there. So some nice classic reprints. I'll speed things up, so if we can come on early tonight, doesn't matter. Right, Anna? Right, Mike?
Yeah.
And then Gary go, why are you on so early?
We can always babble a bit before we get into today's topic too. So.
Yeah, that's it. And I may have something to babble about. Let's hope there's good news here.
Uh-oh. Yep.
Come on. Nope. Oh, I thought there was a response. Nope, I thought there was a response, but there's not. I reached out to someone else for the Wizards 3 discussion, and I'm hoping so. We'll wait on that. I don't want to put names out there yet, but hopefully that person. So, Mike without a beard looks awesome. That's great to hear. That's really good to hear. So this Thursday night is Gamescape 3D giveaway on the Thursday night show. And just remember, we have Ed Greenwood, Anna, and crew on for 2 drink minimum Saturday night. So we got more stratagem, Wiz Dice set giveaways on Saturday night. So we got a lot of. Plus, we have the Fantasy Mapping Show on Friday night. What's up, Fraley? I mean, we got a lot going on. This is stream 1 of 5 this week. This is a 5-bagger. So yes, I'm staying. So tonight we're going to talk. Fighters, Paladins, and Rangers of Greyhawk. Mostly published source, but we may go off a little bit. Sometimes we go off on a tangent, but we want 5 this week because the Fantasy Mapping Show falls on a Friday and the game with Ed's a Saturday, so it just happens. Sometimes it happens that way, which is kind of a cool thing. So yeah, sometimes you just gotta say go all out. I'm sorry, I'm quoting Risky Business now. I'm starting to crank in. So hopefully everyone's doing well. And I know last night was, if you didn't catch it, if you were at Blue Box Con, I understand, but, and we're getting there. It was a test. It was a play test. Anna filled in admirably and put Bashman way ahead last night at the beginning, but we did our first game show, Lorca's Numbers Trivia Challenge show. I got beat up because, the questions were too hard. You know what I did? You know how nice I was last night, Anna?
Yeah.
You know how I did not use the wah emote once?
Oh, you didn't?
I didn't use the wah emote once. With my head with wah on it, not one time. Isn't that cool? Thank you. Because that would be
You didn't press
mean.
any wrong buttons either, I think.
What's that?
You didn't press any wrong buttons either.
No, I didn't.
Yep.
Thanks, Uncle. I was hoping. Well, we'll see if we get a response. Hey, Billmaster Crafter's on. That's it, Billy. Alex Antiquitous is on. Good to see you. Thanks for all the work you did last night, too. And I talked to Chaos Sick, and he's like, yeah, I understand. I just had to go anyway. I understand it was no big deal. I talked to him.
Well, and that Forgotten Realms question with the sisters, I would have been screwed on that one.
Really?
Yeah, I did remember. I remembered Ed talked something about sisters, but the names and stuff, I didn't remember that. So I would have. Well, so I got the easy ones in the beginning. So yeah.
Yeah, and Alex, I tried to do some social media questions too, and it's hard to do so that it's balanced. We may do teams next time, which will make it a little bit easier. Get some ideas. We get some ideas for that kind of show, and that's the thing. That's why I wanted to play test it and do it last night. Come up with some ideas. Might have guests, special guests on. I'll get Luke against Todd Stashwick.
Yeah, and then you give the question to them. If they can't answer the wrong one, the other team get a chance or something like that. So they can kind of discuss. You get them 5 seconds or 10 seconds, whatever.
Hey, launch it.
Yeah, something. So, yeah.
So I didn't make it to trivia.
Thanks, Warclot.
Team Anna won?
No. So Anna started in place of King Bashman Jeff Searcy because his power was out. So she did the first 10 minutes and went way ahead, 6 points to 2 for everyone else.
It's kind of funny. I just came home and I realized, oh damn, it's 2 minutes past 4. I need to get fire up my computer so I can watch the show, so I don't miss it. And then I fired it up and logged in, and then you need to come on because
I wanted to go with 4.
So I just logged in and had no idea that I was going to be on the show. So it was kind of funny.
She was cranking out the answers.
That was basic D&D stuff in the beginning, and Jay had some easy warm-up questions. Yeah. Thankfully, it's not that difficult. Yeah.
Tonight, on a Monday, we did. So we've already done. We did clerics, right? Clerics and priests. Now we're going to talk about the martial characters in Greyhawk: fighters, rangers, paladins. Maybe some other subclasses if there are any of the fighter genre. But we're going to talk about some bounce around favorite characters, some obscure, because I always love going into the obscure. And it should be a good discussion tonight on a Monday. And I really thank everyone for hopping on. Yeah. I don't think there's a single Phantom. I don't think there's a single published source duelist though in Greyhawk that I'm aware of. There's many in my campaign, but I don't know of one that's published source in Greyhawk. How about you, Mike? Do you? Could be. I love the duelist. It's one of my favorite. But there was a question that the answer was the duelist and the barbarian last night. We're like 8 minutes early, so we're going to babble a lot tonight. Are you all right with that? Check out our stream team, Greyhawk Creatives. I'm looking to add another round of more streaming channels to that. All I ask is that you do some Greyhawk content of some sort at some point. I'm gonna hit a wrong button tonight. I'm pressing buttons like crazy tonight, and I have a feeling I'm gonna go babble away. All right, let's babble away. Let's come. We're gonna babble away for a while. Good evening, everyone. I'm J.K. Lord Gazumbo on a Monday evening. I don't know if we may have done Legends of Lore before on a Monday. I'm not sure, but
Probably.
Yeah, probably. And of 150 some episodes, with me is Greyhawk, Mike Bridges, and Anna Meyer.
Howdy.
Anna really gave Jeff that jump last night, which was awesome. And like I said, that was a very good test for the first time. Get some things worked out. Everyone had fun. We gave away a whole bunch of gifts, prizes, and I'm just waiting for Chuck to get back. He's not home yet, and I'll harass him like crazy to get all that out because I have all that written down. So tonight we're gonna do choice, and I'll set up the drawing here. Oh my gosh, I hope I reset that. Frick. So we got Journey to the Rock. I'll give you two here: the Veiled Society. The Lost City, another good one, and another Lenla Kafka, Deep Dwarven Delve, because I got a bunch of those. So next time should be a lightning round where quiz me on 5e. I will fail because number one, how do I say this nicely? I don't care about 5e. Number two, I don't know. I know very little about 5e. Bluntly honest on that. Whoops. So I need to reset this real quick. Give me 1 second. So, thoughts, Anna and Mike, while I'm doing this on tonight's discussion.
Well, I find it interesting that early Greyhawk NPCs didn't have barbarians as a class. Mm-hmm. So, and then in later sources, a lot of your fighters get turned into barbarians.
So yeah, that's true. Can you name one that happened to?
All the rulers of the barbarian lands.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. So what edition do they go? Is it go into the 2.5 book?
Or when that starts.
Okay.
I didn't look into it.
Well, it's the same thing with a lot of fighters get turned into cavaliers. Some get right. Assassins get turned into fighters.
Yeah, some assassins get turned into other things.
Yeah, like Turin Deathstalker.
Quite possible.
He was a dual class fighter assassin. He was dual class, and then they just turned him into a straight fighter. And a lot of the I think Vesper gets changed to his underling, who becomes the head when Turin leaves. But we're getting ahead of ourselves now.
A lot, yeah.
So there we go. Giveaway started, everyone. I got it worked out without, and then but I closed out so that they may disappear in a second. Here, give me 1 second. Wrong button, J. Yeah, so I'm working hard now. We got Roger Moore, and I got through to him on email, and we'll be seeing him on Sunday. I'm working diligently, so you know, for the Wizards 3 discussion, and we have two of them. We have, and I'll tell you, we have Ed Greenwood and we have Jim Ward. Now that is a show in itself. Just the two of them, but I'm trying to add someone who has some Dragonlance and is of that level. So I've reached out to someone else, and we'll see. I don't want to say the person's name until I get a yes or no, but you know, I'm hopeful. I'll say this: they've been on the show already, and they've done a lot of Dragonlance work. So yeah,
Good.
I'm hopeful. Yep. Yeah. So they've been on a one-on-one. You know, Anna, I interviewed him there, give it I don't know, about a year ago on here. So that may be helpful too, that he's already been on here. And hey, you know, I just want to see the banter between the three legends, you know, in that discussion. I think that'll be pretty cool. And we're looking for that in early June. So you know, I'll talk once I have the third, then I'm going to start coordinating dates with all three of them. But I think Jim Ward and Ed are good for both for June 5th and June 12th. So it's probably going to be one of those two dates if we can. So tonight, what would Greyhawk be without fighters?
Not
right?
much.
Yes.
And any fantasy setting, it's the staple. Meaning fighters and wizards are kind of the basic theme, so to speak. And then you add the other ones, but they are kind of the first ones that comes to mind are the fighting types.
I still think fighters are kind of weak compared to wizards in fame.
They were. Yeah. They were. But with weapons, I had this question last night with weapon specialization and getting like 2 attacks per round at 7th level, extra +10 damage, double weapon specialization. Yeah. We had a battle and demoralizing shouts. I think the fighters on a fair par with other, because like, yeah, go ahead, Anna.
No, I was going to say it's an interesting thing that have evolved over the editions. Meaning in the early editions, in early D&D, fighters were really powerful low level compared to wizards, and then you had it was not, you don't have the balance level by level, but you had the balance in the way that fighters could dominate the game early on, and then the wizards kind of came and dominated at the high level, and then as the edition progressed, then I think really 4th edition had, the 3rd edition had, you had tons of cool features for all of them, so they could all have, but I think 4th edition was kind of interesting in that way, that it really balanced all the classes out between them, because they were very conformative. They have these kind of features. Every class had basic feature they can do every round, etc., etc. So it was kind of the game have changed in that way.
Yeah. I want to show you something, which Anna brings up a great point. So our group that we have, that we're playing Iron Fury, and some of you may know this character, and I don't know if Jason Vale. Jason, thank you. Jason Vale of Troll Lord, and has his own company as well. It's great to see you, Jason. Thank you so very much. Jason also Jason and I at GaryCon had a little tiff, but I instigated because I'm not a fan of Sidney Crosby. There, Mike. I deserved it. So
you're knocked out of the playoffs, by the way.
Yeah, it's good to see you. Very good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you.
Yeah. Hope you're doing well. I know you're really busy, and I know you got a lot going on with Troll Lord and Anna and I as well, and it's really awesome. So, if you know anything about our groups, this is last week's. No wonder. I'm checking through our one group. We have the First Ulic Pathfinders, the Bloody Brethren, and I think someone played this character during Blue Box Con, because John Ryan and Horton Hool's my adventure. Millicent Von Kessel's a straight class fighter. Then we have a Sylvan Elf straight class fighter, a Half Ogre straight class fighter, and a Mountain Dwarf female straight class fighter. We have 4 of them in that group because they have some, they get some abilities now as opposed to multi-class fighters. So, it makes it, and we're talking rules now, but balance wise, they have some advantages, and that's the way we've always been tweaking, and we have different stance. You could do 2-weapon, sword and board, or 2-handed weapon, all different styles, just to change things up. But as far as some of the most important characters in all of Greyhawk are fighters, or rangers or paladins. I mean, a lot of legendary characters like Daern's a paladin, right? So what we're going to do is we'll bounce between some of these great ones, and I have some bookmarked in multiple publications. I'm assuming Mike does as well, right, Mike? As well as can be expected.
Let's just
Rangers
say
are
all
great
my notes fit on this little.
That's good. That's great. So we'll start with a ranger. Watts Quirtle. We'll start with a ranger. All right.
Okay.
We'll start with a ranger.
Rangers.
Now let's see if Jay can hit a right button here. Oh no, it's wrong. I'm switching it. I'm not. There you go. First time. No, this is not, Jason. This is not edition specific at all. This is Legends and Lore, and we talk about Greyhawk. This is a Greyhawk discussion stream.
Lore.
We're normally on Wednesday nights, but I have orientation with my son for his going into junior high on Wednesday this week, and then I have his jazz band recital next Wednesday. So we're on next 2 Mondays for this. So this is not at all edition specific. This discussion, all editions, we're going to talk Greyhawk lore, but editions may come up. So let's go to one of my favorite publications of all time, the Marklands, right? I have this all set up. Sorry. I thought I did. Marklands. All right. And of course it didn't pop over there. All right. So we go to the Marklands. Now the thing about the Marklands is it's split into sections. And we're going to go to the first section here in the Marklands, and we're going to talk about the Vespi Forest. And we have a high level. We're going to stick on Rangers a bit. Rangers are fantastic here. All right. Where's the Vespi? Vespi. Should be right here. Should be right in this section right here. Here we go. Super high level in comparison. Here we go. Elrin Walthair, Lord Marshal of the Vespi Forest. You got him, Mike, on your list?
Yes.
Oh, you do? Okay. Why don't you tell us about him then?
I know nothing about it.
Okay.
So go on.
Not a fan of the New York. See, that's okay, Jason, because I'm not a fan of the New York Rangers either. So, yeah, you got it. So, Elrin Walthair, 16th level Ranger. He's the Lord Marshal of all the humans in the Vespi Forest, basically. And as you know, the Vespi Forest is huge. There's Sylvan Elves, there's Grey Elves, there's the Vale, the High Folk, Gnomes, Beastmen, and a lot of Iusian forces running through there. And Elrin's very chaotic, does not favor forcing the Vespi folk into form alliances and armies. He truly feels that different groups should share resources and information and come to each other's need when it seems right. Great idea, but with the grand distances in the Vespi, that may be tough. We're talking right out there. You're talking hundreds of miles of just of nothing, of forest. So I don't know if that was thought about when this was written. So so he believes Ayaz will grind himself to a halt in the Vespi, countless thousands of square miles, which kind of happens. But he's worried by new manifestations of Ayaz magic, Varangoan and Thassalos monsters. If it has a weakness, he's a little too cautious. So that's a great one to start off. 16th level, that's very high. Has a flame tongue, short sword of swiftness, +3 longbow. It's pretty nasty. So that's where I started.
What was his title?
Lord Marshal of the Vespi Forest.
Okay.
Yes.
Right, got it.
Yep. Absolutely. And that's the first one that I saw someone professing love for Rangers. I did, but they're wildly different from 1E, 2E to 5. They are wildly different because a lot of things are wildly different. So here's some things that we did to enhance Rangers even more. We gave them weapon specialization, but not multiple attacks. We give them 2 slots. So most rangers in our game, this is a 1E, 2E, or whatever game system you're playing, can get plus hit and damage with a melee weapon and a bow, and they get enhanced rages with it. But it has to be. We don't do it for multi-class characters, only straight class rangers. So that helps them out.
Did rangers have thief-like abilities? I don't remember.
They have hide and shadows and move silently as of Unearthed Arcana, right? As of that, and then they could get. It depends on. No, Dark Elf Twilight. They did not in old school. Now you may have been able to add that in 3rd edition. Anna, do you know? And Pathfinder can rangers disarm traps?
No, I don't think so. Out of
I mean, if you put points in it.
Okay.
Exactly. If you put points in it, so it's more like you build a little bit.
It would, if it's not a class skill, it would cost you double.
Exactly. You have to pay for it, so to speak. So, but you can do a lot of different stuff.
Well, with that, some people say, well, they can track. Another thing we do. There are rules. There are rules. And I think these were 3rd edition rules. I always get them all mixed up. It doesn't matter. Where leather armor, they got the dual wielding free. We bumped that up to even studded leather and made it one better, so that they could wear at least something a little more, for that free dual wielding ranger style. If you wanted to go with that, so and that's just like anything else. Tweak your game to what makes sense for you. Yeah, absolutely, Jason. So, but I see 3 different types of rangers: the dual wielding ranger, the ranged missile ranger, who can fight much better than the Elena Kafka archer class, but they're not as good as an archer with bow. No one's as good in my game as with bow than an archer. And then you can have a tank ranger too, a woodsman, axe and shield, who can wear heavier armor and doesn't really care about wants to be the woodland protector. When the owlbear attacks, that they can have good armor class. And airborne ranger. I start singing, Tim. Just like in Breakfast Club. That's funny, Tim. The ever mysterious Tim is on.
You mean a ranger that can fly? That's a concept.
Yeah, Jason, upping it to studded just made sense to give them a little bit of a bump over thieves. And that's what we did. So there he goes. The ever mysterious Tim, everyone. So that was my first one. So, Mike, you want to hit one up? You could
sure. Let me tell you about the 16th level ranger, Lord Marshal of the Busy Forest, named Rowena Silverbrow.
So there's another one.
Yes, there is.
What publication?
Well, Westby is big. Yep.
Rowena is from Isle of the Ape.
Wow. Okay, that is awesome.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna see if I can bring that up. So
mind blowing, huh?
Chat a little bit there, and I will see
if
I can.
I don't know a whole lot about this character, but I would say timeline-wise, that occurs before Marklands. So she had to have been the predecessor of Elrond Walthair.
Boom. Got it.
Maybe they assume after this module she's either dead or retired or something, that they replace her in Marklands. Clearly, surely they would have known the reference. Carl Sargent, pretty thorough, but no. Isle of the Ape has some high level, hard hitting NPCs, and then a lot of them go on to be pretty, well known, I would say.
So are they in the beginning or the end? The characters
kind of in the middle.
That's right. They're in the
these are pre-gen. Yep.
Yeah.
Artwork by.
There you go.
Is that Elmore or Easley art?
There's those 3. Druidus. Did I go past her? Or is it?
No.
Wait a minute. Neutral good.
No, there's 6 characters. So
3.
Gotta just keep.
Oh,
maybe you went too far.
I always nope. There
Nope,
we
here
go.
it
There
is.
you go. Yep.
Rowena of the Silverbrow. Nice one. Neutral good Alana,
Yeah,
1850 strength, which I believe was maximum for human females back then, and we kind of
And she
eliminated
has
that too.
comeliness.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, comeliness was the second edition. I'm sorry, it was
Yeah.
Honor Arcana stat. I still use it, so very cool. Yeah, that's definitely Elmore.
Someone did
That's definitely
bring
Elmore.
Crook.
You're absolutely right, Bill. Yep.
Yep. Someone had to bring that crook back. You're right.
Yep. Yeah. So I'm going to give you, Jason. I'm going to tell you how.
Well, we know Warrens makes it back because he's in Return of the Eight.
And he's Warnus, and hey, we get to talk about that Sunday night with Roger Moore, which is awesome. Warnus Starcliffe. So fantastic one there. So the first Marshal. So maybe she doesn't come back.
Yeah, clearly someone took over the role for her, but she's on par. You know, that's so 16th level Ranger is what you need to be to run the.
Wouldn't that be funny if they had the exact same stats and they just changed the name?
Yeah.
No.
Might be.
Nope, they're different stats.
Yeah, I think those characters in Gnarly Ape are quite OP. Like,
hey, Games Tavern, good to see you.
They have 3 or more 18s in their stats. Clearly, they rolled down the line.
So, Gunslinger, we have that idea too. It's called offhand parry, where we allow a -2 to the THAC0, but they lose an attack. They lose an attack in the secondary hand if they get multiples, but they can still attack. Yeah, so that's cool. There's different ways of doing it. We incorporated feats into our proficiency system.
Yeah, she has magic bows and magic arrows.
+5 adamantite chainmail. That's like worth an entire kingdom.
Dang.
Yeah. 4 hours of slaying to be selected.
Well,
I'll just select them as the adventure goes.
I'll take giant 8 arrows thing.
Yeah, these. Yeah, Bill's dead on. I think that she's definitely an Elmore. She's definitely Elmore, and here let's think about that. Yeah, they're Elmores, absolutely. Yeah. Next time we have Larry on, we can ask him. All right, Anna.
Yeah, I have another ranger, 15th level ranger that came from obscurity and then obtained a very high title, one of the highest in the Flannies, and in late 564 something like that. And I'm talking about Kimbertosh Skadi, the king of Keoland. That was an obscure little baron of Greyhill, and then when the kingdom, old king, what was it, Tavish the Fourth or something? Yeah, and anyway, he died and passed away, and then they needed to select a new king. So they found this baron in a ranger roaming the Dreadwoods, and they
he was just roaming around.
Yeah, it basically says that he was kind of the odd one out, so to speak. And
adventurers.
Yep.
Well, so here in the original glossography from 1980's 14th. So it says here, King Tavish III was slain in battle against the Sea Princes, and his son Tavish IV immediately changed the policies of the kingdom upon ascending the throne. So there you go.
Yep.
The state of the Yomery was recognized. Ulic states were granted autonomy, and Keelan returned to its former state of tolerance and prosperity thereafter. Huh. So I guess he's like, you know what? I'm not very political, and everyone should just get along.
Yep. So it's kind of interesting that someone, it will be like taking the most obscure person or ruler out in the boondocks to ascend the throne in one of the biggest realms. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like the idea of Scotty when I was younger, because the first thing it brought to mind for me was Aragorn. You know, he is the king who used to be a ranger.
Yep.
I'm sure I'm not the only one who thought that.
No, I think that's a very good analogy, and I think it's kind of cool. And Keoland is still one of the important realms, so that's a ranger with a lot of political power. Eventually, when he ascends the throne, so yeah.
That's a cool one, Dale. I'll do that one in a second. So one from the Peanut Gallery, which was on Twitter.
Peanut Gallery. Okay.
Yeah, the Peanut Gallery on Twitter, which I got, and that was Stephen Chenault. So he responded,
Steven.
the Ranger Daladon tracked the wastes of the Dreadwood and Keeland and all the Keelish Valley for many years, I think he's saying, roughly 1985 to 91. So I'm assuming this was his character. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So Steven was playing in Greyhawk back then and responded to my my ad on Twitter, which I thought was cool. So there you go. Yep. So Steven gave us that that one. So Dale really came up with a huge one there. So is that Baron General Shalaster of Garisteth, now Prince of Highlander? I know Shalaster's in a book, but which publication's he in? Is he in? He schemes against his liege Grinnell and Ralph. He's in Ivid the Undying. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Which I probably, if you can give me a page there, Dale, I will go right to it. I am prepared, kind of, tonight. So Ivid the Undying. Very cool. You can give me a page. We'll go see him, what he is in here. 60. Thank you. Thank you for this for the participation. Oh, it's a night where you don't have a game too on this Monday. So, oh, there we go.
Yeah,
there he is.
Thrown off.
He's 15th here, so you've got him. Oh, he's still 15th. Okay. Baron General Shalaster, fighter, lawful evil, big guy, 6'5". So
rides a river.
Yep. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's too much to remember. 2 hands for +2, +3 versus orcs, goblins, hollow goblins, +4 versus trolls and giants.
Yeah, how's he supposed to use a 2-hand sword on the back of a river?
Ow.
Bones.
One swing and he's down.
Very carefully, I guess. You know, we want to make sure. He wants to make sure that and once again, a lot.
He commands. He just
there's not a lot of thought that goes into a lot of these when that happens, right? Oh well, I'm riding. So let's see here. He detests the cowardly ruler of Stingen and his lord, the ruler of Eastfair, but also has a sense not to challenge an animus, especially one with a considerable army. Hence, he bides his time fending off the orcs around his castles. He grows richer from forays into Blemo Hills and plans to strengthen his forces with mercenaries. Where does mercenaries coming from there, Dale? And more magical items bought
Bone
from
March,
Morkent.
I guess.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, we can always say Roblar is another one, too. We can get to Roblar, definitely.
Yeah, Roblar.
Yep. Yeah, it's all good, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
No problem. And that was TMI, too much information. Hey, Move 5. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you so very much. All over, plus he's bleeding men of Hastern of Edgefield. He's one of the gems. That's a good. I mean, yeah, definitely. It says here, while evil, he is very lawful and always a man of his word. Well, that's good to know. And he has fierce contempt for Lancaster of Winetha. Okay. Moose. Thank you. You change your name? Which is cool. Or is it, I get, there's we have so many mooses. We have maybe two, maybe one. I don't know. But thank you so very much. Really appreciate it. Okay. I'm just going to, okay. So we got 2 mooses. We're double moosed tonight. That's awesome. A few mises, yeah. Oh man. We're going to go right for the jugular here, and this is one of my favorites, Mooseception. We're gonna go to Eye is the Evil. This is one that Anna would bring up too. My favorite. I've talked about her multiple times. Where the hell is she?
Oh, you mean one of the?
Yeah.
But are we talking Rangers still?
No, because we just hopped into a fighter. We just hopped we just hopped into a fighter with Dale. Dale, we can talk about Rangers, Paladins, fighters.
No. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sharon Valinar.
Oh, okay.
14th level fighter as of this publication in Eyes the Evil, one of the free weavers.
I was oh yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I love whoever wrote this was very poetic, and it says, 5'7" tall with red brown hair and blue green eyes. She can look pretty when she smiles. She usually smiles widest when one of her victims is having a Sharon smile carved on him. To the free weavers, a Sharon smile is a throat cut from ear to ear. And the great thing about this character, she threatens priests of Ayus too. She doesn't care. I mean, this is as chaotic evil as you get. Like, they just don't. The free weavers in that area, they don't play well with others. Period. Good or bad, they're enemies of everyone. Let me bring up the map real quick.
Did she play well with the hierarchs before they were
I
ousted?
imagine as they gave her reign over guarding the southeast against the Shieldlands. That's my guess. It doesn't really get into detail at that time, but Mike, you're probably onto something there. Let me throw this up here.
That's how I have them. They were the kind of the striking force of the hierarchs.
There we go.
And they were so nasty that I used never dare to touch them.
There.
Like so many other things that comes with the hierarchs. So yeah.
Yeah, so there's our lands, Free Reavers lands, Smokewall Castle. Ann and I both extended their territory over a further area.
Yep.
So that's our main keep. And yeah, there's really no one living in that area because you're not living for long. Yeah.
And I have the Free Reavers. They were the Horn Society's strike force. If they wanted a bit like Obmi and Keek and stuff, or Ayus, kind of go out and do things. And I have the Free Reavers. They were the Horn Society's equal to Obmi and Keek and stuff. And I have that role. And after when the Horn, and also my take is different a little bit on Horn Society's roles. So, but when Horn Society was kind of falling back, and when Ayus was successful, and their need to hold the lands were not that big, the Free Reavers held on to their stuff because that was their base, and they were so vicious, and Ayus didn't dare to touch them. He didn't dare to kind of, he had enough enemies anyway, so he kind of just circumvent them, and that meant they're still there, and it's unclear who they actually serve, so to speak, if anyone these days. So in my campaign, they still have a purpose, and she's very, and they, especially her, she's very vicious on the thing, so to speak. So it's kind of fun. Yeah.
I have her like Mastrine. They serve no one but themselves, and just because this is so. If in 3rd edition they made the group the Ravagers up. I think they kind of loosely based them on the Free Reavers. I could be wrong, but they're even nuttier than the Free Reavers. The Free Reavers at least have a purpose, and the Ravagers just go slaughtering because they all worship Rithnal, the god of slaughter. So it can't get much worse than that for having someone of pure chaotic evil alignment. So why he has bothered them their lands? Yeah, I mean there's nothing there. So yeah. Yeah, Ravagers of Erithnal. They're also in the Sword and Fist book from 3rd edition.
Yep.
Sure. That's where I first saw them. They may be in Ivid the Undying as well. And then they got pulled into that 3rd edition book. You may be perfectly correct on that. No, not Ivid. My bad. Okay. All right. Cool. No rest for the wicked. Mike, what do you got?
Talking fighters, huh?
Well, you can talk fighters, paladins, rangers, whatever you want.
That's fine. Yeah.
I'm going to go back to ranger in a second.
So while we're over in Free Reaver territory, let's talk about someone that Sharon probably doesn't mess with, and that's Warduke. So in Dungeon 105, Eric Mona and company added the classic Warduke villain to the World of Greyhawk as one of the hierarchs, I guess, who would
I like it.
been out of power, and he's just kind of wandering around. I guess he's a wandering encounter basically in this issue. Interestingly, he's
There's
And
cover.
you've all seen, yeah, there's the cover. I was gonna say you all know what it looks like. Yeah, it's just he barely wears any armor, just a big sword, shield, and fearsome helmet, which is an artifact, by the way. And in that issue, he's surprisingly, for the 3.5 era, he's only 18th level. Only. Although I think his CR is probably pretty high with that helmet and all.
So he's on page.
Oh, the Warduke.
Let me see where if I can find him.
Somewhere in the middle. Now, interestingly, in the 5e era, Warduke and all those classic characters from back in the day appeared in the adventure.
There we
go. Wild Beyond the Witchlight or something like that. And Warduke's in this, and he's only 12th level in that book. Which I think for 5e, comparison, that's pretty high level.
So, well, yeah. So he's only 18th in here, but then he goes down to based on edition, fighter 8. So, oh my gosh,
he could stomp from other ones. Yeah.
+3 Bane versus Humans, Anarchic Flaming Burst Blaster Sword.
Oh, 3.5.
Yeah,
that area is crazy.
So what is Warduke's helm? It says Warduke's helm. It says it's an artifact. What's it do? Here it is. Warduke's helm.
Kind of fearsome vision.
Major artifact. Warduke gained his helm from an unnameable hierarch himself as a payment for a particularly destructive and unsuccessful mission. Bestows 2 negative levels and then okay. If a lawful good creature puts on, wearing the helmet, low light vision, +10 competence bonus, SR 10 to his character level, complete immunity to all charm effects. Okay, and it's got some special abilities from rubies.
Yeah,
it's bringing a spell storing, and it doesn't deplete. It looks like. Nice. It's very neat.
Yeah, Zump. I don't know about this collector's figure you're talking about, but I do have the mini that came in the set, the pre-painted plastic mini of Warduke.
So we just got one, a new 3D print of one, but it's not available for sale from the guy who I got the dragon turtle from. He has a Warduke print. I gave it to Bill, and Bill's painting it up. We're going to paint it up at some point.
Cool.
So, yep, it's pretty neat.
So anyhow, Warduke's just always been one of my favorites. Just stylistically, he screams D&D villain.
Yeah.
I never used that character in my campaign during the 3rd edition era. I had the stats handed to me on a silver platter. I didn't use them.
No, I never used them either, but I definitely should. Yeah, it was kind of the name was a bit too just generic Warduke. It's like it's not a name; it's just a
The Duke of War.
Yeah, but on the other hand, it's just to say he's the epitomal fighter, so to speak. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
So, Mr. Wonderboy, I'm going to say something here, and I have never for my group, they want to play a Paladin, that's fine. They roll up the stats and they don't get the charisma. You do a 2-for-1 on another stat or something to get it up. I prefer my players to let them play the classes that they want to play with those characters. So, all right, that's the 5th edition Warduke.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Yep. Very cool.
Challenge reading 5.
What does that mean in 5th edition? So what 2
5th
level
characters can take them?
Oh my gosh.
Well, it's a low level adventure. I think what the case is.
Okay. So that's a great one, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
A real good one. Bringing up Warduke there. All right. Anna, where do you want to go next?
I want to talk about 2 paladins that I think are tied together in some ways, because they're some of the most powerful paladins. One is old and frail and past its due date. The other one is more young and vibrant, and both are kind of, I think, some of the most powerful paladins. And I'm talking about the Belvor, the king of Furyundi, and the Katarina, the commander of the Shield Lance.
Okay.
and to me they're interesting in the sense that they are these kind of stereotypical good paladin types leading nations and knightly orders, and they seem to be sort of tied. They're working on in the same era, and they seem to not only like each other, but they are firm allies. And I tied it into even deeper into the history in my campaign. But I think that they're kind of cool. If you want the epitome of the good kind of the opposite of Warduke, very much is Katarina, so to speak. Very much the complete opposite, as warlike, but on the good side, so to speak. And Belvoir probably used to be in his younger years when he was acting. Now he's just old and frail, and in my campaign he's in his late 80s and ready to pass on to the baton on to someone else. We don't know who. So and he lost his son, Thrommel, that you asked a question about on the in the quiz show the other night. So it's kind of it's kind of interesting that but I kind of like them as concept for NPCs, so to speak. It's kind of they're the type of NPCs that I think a campaign should have some clear good NPCs that are the good ones on the battlefield, so to speak. And Paladin of Hieronymus, it kind of that's kind of stereotypical, but I think still a campaign should have that type of NPC in there somewhere.
Yeah, I was trying to find my picture of Katarina from the article, and I don't know where it is. You know,
yeah.
No, we're not talking about Thrommel, because if we're going to talk about Thrommel a week from Sunday, and you all want to be there, okay?
Yep.
The Sunday after Roger Moore, when I do Wall of Fame, Hamlet, and Temple of Elemental Evil, you want to be there for that discussion. I'm going to quash this once and for all. Right, Dale? Quash it once and for all. So, yes. Who is it? Exactly. Yes.
Oh, there you have, Keristin,
right.
And
yeah.
And Corn Serend. Yep. Perfect example.
Another paladin. Let me do that. Dale, you're on a roll tonight, because that's one of mine here.
I used Karn in my.
So I actually have Karastein's Castle's roster done, because I use the location a lot in my campaign. So here is the roster. And in fact, Alex, I believe, didn't you play Sharon Heflerinus in the Joust? I think Antiquitas got stuck with him, and he got knocked out in the first round. And yes, members of Karastein's Castle here, because you have the what do they call her, the something Cheyenne Stormhanded, who gets around a lot, tempestuous they call her in the From the Ashes book. And these are all published names of all these characters in there. So yeah, no, it's good, Dale. This is great. It leads it from one to another. So yes, 12th level paladin, beautiful keep. And when I heard that Living Greyhawk just they destroyed it, I was like, oh. I mean, they destroyed everything in Living Greyhawk. So yeah, I forgot who told me that. Was Eric Mona? Someone said, "Oh yeah, they wiped that out." Rary came and obliterated it. I think that's what they said. So, but yeah, so this is the Rally and Robbler. There we go. So there's another one, Lord Robbler, which we'll talk about. The multi-Lord Robbler world. She's got a great singing voice. So there you go. That's the group there. Karastein's Castle. I think I have the map up, and she has her own heraldry on Anna's map too.
Yep.
And
that needs to be ruined on the 598 map. It's on my map notes to do. Yes. Yep.
There we go.
Yep.
So there's Karastein's Castle on the edge of, and Ghazal is a Dungeon Magazine adventure.
I think so. Yeah.
Yep. So we recently had a group come from Harby to Karastein's Castle, and then come out into this area here in Marstafell, and had an adventure in this area. So, yep. Good one, Dale. Yeah, it's good, man. Participation from the audience is a great thing. Absolutely. Next. Go ahead, Mike.
All right. I'm going to go back to Rangers.
Cool.
So I was quite surprised to find out as I was researching this that Duke Aya of the Duchy of 10 is a 12th level Ranger as of the 83 box set.
Wow.
And I thought to myself, well, okay, I guess the Duchy of 10 could be a Ranger-ish society. I don't know I don't know a whole lot about his personal backstory, except that I think after the Greyhawk Wars or during the Greyhawk Wars, he's like displaced and he's like in exile in, I want to say the Duchy of Ernst or Nyrond.
So this gets switched from the 80 to the 83 box set from a fighter to a Ranger. Because in here it's fighter. Okay, the Duke of 10.
But it's still 12th level?
Yes. That's good. I mean, hey, I mean, they where was she killed? She was probably killing her own keep. I don't even know where the Thanalan blade is, Dale. Never heard of that.
Never heard of that. Never.
To hold her soul, preventing res. That's just wonderful. Oh man. All right. So, well, why couldn't Flan have Rangers? I think it's perfect.
Oh, I'm just trying to think what makes this Duke get into Rangering, and the best I can figure is the Duchy of 10 is got a lot of hostile terrain around them, right?
Right.
The Griff Mountains and the forests. Even I can't remember if the troll swamp there is by 10 or not.
A troll fence?
Yeah, the troll fens, the Bluff Hills. There's a lot of just really hostile terrain all around the Duchy of 10. So maybe he's just, goes on hunts a lot or something. I don't really know much about his background to be informed, unlike we got for King Scotty, let's say, his background that Gary Holian probably devised.
Mm-hmm.
But then the Duchy of 10 gets, clobbered in the
multiple times.
So we'll never know.
Interesting. Well, it's interesting that is what the direction they went. They switched them to
It's a high level ranger.
Yeah.
Because I was really struggling to find high level rangers. Anything, 12th level or higher.
I got one.
Yeah.
Hey.
I got another one. I don't know if he's in this. Nope, I got the wrong one. Give me a sec. Okay. Page 38. This is, you want to see some Rangers, some cool Rangers? Oh, there's that's Storm Keep. I think that's Storm Keep picture, not Karastein's. There's Karastein's castle. We just went right by it right there. But, yep, 38. Here we go. Gnarly Forest. We have the Gnarly Forest Rangers right here. Role play, and there's a bunch of information written up on them. Signals of the Gnarly Forest, and a lot of languages. Pretty cool, and I know that Will for 5th edition did a little bit more on them. But where is he? Where's the leader in here? Oh gosh, is he at the end? Okay, man, my brain just shut off. There's the Swan Maze too, which we'll go over in a second. I thought it was right here, Ranger Knight. Well, he's a Ranger Knight. Yeah. He. I thought it was right here. Rangers of the Fires. Specifically, it's What's up, Enoch? Good to see you. I'm trying to find the leader of the Gnarly Forest Rangers. Bill, why am I just losing my mind here? He's right here. He's got to be right here, and I can't find him. I thought he was right in this discussion right here. Woodsman.
I thought
Rangers
there
of the
was
Forest.
not a ruler.
He's named.
I thought it was a collective.
He's named. There is a leader of the Gnarly Forest Rangers, and I can't find him. So
well,
yep.
Everything I tried to read, I couldn't find a leader.
But you also have here the Swan Maze, and you have Matriarch Serenia. She's multi-class, 12th Priest of Alana and a 14th level Ranger. So she's both. She's multi-class. So there you go. Ranger Knights in our Swan Maze should be encountered. I love using the Swan Maze. It's a pretty neat group here in the Gnarly. They have a token that they get when they become. It's almost like a sisterhood, and with that token, they can turn into a swan, and they get magic resistance. So it's a pretty cool. I think they're a monster manual too, actually. The Swan May themselves, but this is a pretty. There's a lot going on in the Gnarly Forest, so it's good. It's a good place to have do some adventuring. Thank you so very much for that. Really appreciate that. All right, well maybe we'll find the name. I know there's a name of leader of the Knights of the Gnarly. I just am being stupid. Anna, what do you got?
I was thinking if we have we've only talked about humans so far, so I was thinking we have a half orc that is probably one of the most distinguished fighter types in a lot of Flannies, and I'm talking about a contentious character that I've heard some people say might not even exist, and I'm talking about the leader of the Pomars, Turus Mak.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of, he described in the Living Greyhawk Gazetteer as fighter 16. So it's kind of interesting, and to me it seems like contentious. Some don't even say he exists, and yeah. So it's kind of when I had campaign back in 25 years ago or something like that, he definitely existed in my campaign. He was that kind of vicious, a bit like Warduke.
Yeah. I was going to say there's a lot more evidence for Turus Mak existing than the other guy.
Then this guy I have right here, Theg Gnarlet.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yeah. Theg Gnarlet, fighter assassin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the question is, and you can do it whatever way you want. Is he fictitious or not? I never really have gone there that much either way with either of them, but yeah, there's got to be some joining force behind the Pomars, correct?
They're chaotic realms, so it's definitely not any outsider doesn't really know who's ruling, so to speak, and it's not that organized, but it's
okay.
But it's interesting because there's many takes on the Pomars, and it's meaning you had Joe Block's See Pomars and Die article that had a lot of cool details and stuff, but didn't. And then you have others, and then come the Living Greyhawk Gazetteer later, and kind of had a news story about the Pomars. And I think you need to, if you want to adventure and build the Pomars in your own campaign, you need to pick and cherry pick the stuff you want from the slavers and from various dragon articles and stuff like that, and then Living Greyhawk Gazetteer or whatever, and build your own model of how you want the Pomars to be ruled and run by who, so to speak. So, but there's an interesting set of characters to choose from.
Yeah, that's a definite.
Yep.
That's an absolute definite there.
And I think that Turus Mak is kind of cool. And
where's he statted? Where is he officially statted?
He's statted in the Living Greyhawk Gazetteer, not fully, but he's a male half-orc fighter 16. So which makes him fairly on the powerful list.
He's an LGG.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well,
I don't know if there's a full stat block.
No, it's not a full stat block. Just mention that he's a fighter 16 and a male half-orc. That's all we know, I think.
Okay.
I bet he has an 18 strength.
Oh, I'm sure he has. It's a third edition, so he's probably 22 strength or 22, 23 or something like that. Yeah.
Go ahead, Mike.
Wow. Ooh, Turus Mak. Impressive. But over in all, we would say he's
I
weak.
would laugh at him.
Uh-oh.
Weak.
Yes.
Yes, in 591, all is ruled by a 16th level fighter named
Ooh.
Bruiserog, the Misbegotten, and he's a half ogre.
Oh, there you
Half
go.
ogre.
He would laugh at a half orc. That's the
Push mark.
weekly. Yep.
I love half ogres.
For
Awesome.
splat. Yeah, all you have to do is go to Greyhawk and you can probably find
Yep.
stuff about him on there. I've written about his background and whatnot. Former gladiator. In all, might makes right. So he had enough of the pit fighting action, and he got some payback, and he runs the place through
Yep.
Iron Fist.
Yes, absolutely, Baker. That's Mike's doing is exactly what he's talking about here.
Yes,
It's his doing all the way, making
Yep.
that character.
Yeah.
And such a wonderful write-ups.
Oh, yeah.
It's fantastic.
He's got to be tough because all's kind of a country that's very backaloonish centric, about their tribe and everything, and so for a half all ogre to rule, it's got to be through fear. And it'll probably be a very short rule because some adventurers will probably come along and kill him eventually. But hey, that's how.
And also, I guess he's the type that likes to challenge. He likes challengers because he likes to kill them, so he can prove that he's worthy. Because I guess the only way you be worthy on ruling is that you're able to slay whoever claims or challenge you.
I just think Greyhawkery. You want to type in. You want to do a search on Greyhawkery, Mike. What would be the best?
At the
thing to
very
search
top, I have a link. It's Best of Greyhawkery.
There you go.
Or my articles. It's one or the other. It might be in the articles.
Yep.
But there's a whole article on Bruiserog.
There you go. As all is all done up here by Mike, which is fantastic.
Yep.
All right. I'm going back to. Well, I thought I was, unless I crash everything. It's not popping up. Probably came out twice. Okay. We're going down. We're going. Oh no, Philidor. My eyes just popped out. Sorry. All right. Where is she? We're doing a half-elf female who's a ranger. She's multi-class, but she's a ranger. One of my favorites of all time. Noted in From the Ashes. If I can frickin' find where she is. Here we go. Bladestorm. All right. Used in my Narwhal campaign, Bladestorm Headhunter. It's just a great story here. It says, I like reading this. Bladestorm is an impetuous, hot-headed half-elf that befits a clerk of Tritharion. No one is sure why she emerged from the Walkwood to offer her services to headhunters. The Greyhawk militia smilingly offered her an impossible task, that of bringing back a dozen bandits known to be well-equipped, who had been a thorn in Narwhal's side for years. 2 weeks later, she came back with their heads. She's been taken very seriously since. Yes, so has fights longsword, which is kind of had to figure out the rules for that, and also has an amulet of mirror images and a longsword of dancing. Hence the name Bladestorm. There's swords flopping up all about here, all over the place, and it has some clerical abilities. Some pretty nasty character. So I have her, and I actually have her done up in Portrait Workshop as well. So that's one of my favorites of all time from published source NPCs that I utilize. Interacts with the Narwhal Headhunters. Longsword. In fact, one of my NPCs, my NPC Lauralee, in that group, she's a ranger mage. Fights longsword, and honor Bladestorm, and is not very good at it at all. She has a lot of big, huge penalties in her secondary hand. Yeah, so pretty neat. But you can fight longsword because we have monkey grip as a feat in our game, so we allow that. Yeah, you can do that. That's one of my favorites. Mike, give me one that you used in your campaign that you interacted with, just like I just gave with Bladestorm. You have one?
Yeah. Well, I'm sure there's a lot of those.
Okay.
But I think the only thing I can really talk about right now that's fresh on my mind is some fighters that I've made for the Hold of the Sea Princes.
Okay.
576 pre-wars Sea Princes. So we know that the Hold of the Sea Princes is ruled by Prince Gian II, who himself is a 17th level fighter.
Yes.
According to the box set. So, you know, he's probably top 10 easily of fighters in the Flannis at that era, right? So I was just trying to fill in some of the other nobility that's underneath him and reason that he would probably be, himself being a former adventurer, buccaneer, whatever, he's probably the top of the pecking order level-wise. So I was trying to fill in some gaps, and what I have in so far in my writings is the 3 islands there, Jetsam Island, Fairwind, and Flotsam Island,
right,
are each ruled by a Commodore. There are 3 Commodores,
cool,
the isles, and each of them are fighters of appreciable level and, you know, skill in sailing, captains of not just a ship, now a fleet of ships. And the highest, well, let's see, no, maybe not the highest, but the middle one, the one who's allied with the prince closest, his name is Commodore Silas Oratero, 14th level fighter. He's the Commodore of Jetsam Island, which is the one closest to Monmouth.
Okay.
How
big is his fleet?
I don't go into numbers when I come to my writings, because I feel that everyone's mileage may vary on fleets. So I always describe fleets by small, medium, and large.
Okay.
So he would personally have a small fleet, but collectively, you know, between him and the prince and all their allies would have a large fleet.
Right. Cool.
So Silas is kind of like, he's the mentor of Gian. He was Gion's captain before Gian was given this, you know, he gave up the adventuring life and became the ruler of the hold. And so because of their experience sailing together, he is like the most trusted person in the Hold of the Sea Princes. He'd be the one who would take a sword in the back from the Scarlet Brotherhood to save Prince Gian. Because we know only, according to the text, only 27 of 30 nobles were killed. That means 3 got away. So
or 0 got killed by the Sea Prince, by the freaking Scarlet
or
Brotherhood.
0, right? So anyhow,
Worst if I can't stand.
Yeah, the Commodores of the Hold of the Sea Princes collectively, I would say, one's 13th level, one's 15th level. So they're
on your
high level. And I'll be featuring, the reason I'm not going to go into too much, I think I might have that one. I'm developing them for the blog.
Oh, great. That's awesome.
Yeah, so they'll be out.
Cool.
Very, very cool.
I think I already put out one of them, though.
Okay.
No, wait. Okay, so Commodore Oratero will be out soon. Maybe I should have did that for today. That was a nice timing.
It's Monday threw us all off, man, doing this on a Monday instead of a Wednesday night. Trust me.
Oh, well.
After the game last night, I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't even prepped for this. I was like, so.
But the last thing I'll say about it is the Hold of the Sea Princes, being this high seas swashbuckling type setting, they like their sword play, so you're going to find a lot of fighters in the roads here, and they are also generally big patrons of Kellenin, the Prince of Swords, who is probably the epitome of fighters if we're going to go there.
Something about the Sea Princes campaign. I mean, you don't get closer to Saltmarsh than this area. Seaton's right here.
Just right across the water.
Isn't Casey doing a Seaton article?
I
think so. Yeah.
Yeah. It's got Saltmarsh and Seaton right here, and Dunmound's right here for all you Horton Holes people. So we got a whole bunch of stuff going on in this area, and it's like this is Keeland. A lot of people don't realize it. This is Keeland down here. So Keeland and the Sea Princes touch each other. Yeah. Very cool, Mike. That was great.
Yeah.
Anna.
Okay, we're talking about someone we used in our campaigns, and someone I used in my campaigns a couple of times that is of the Greyhawk note is someone kind of very familiar, and I'm talking about Prince Brightflame Melf himself. And it's a multi-class fight. I have him as fighter wizard, so of high level, so to speak. So fighter, I have him like 10-6 or something like that. He's like 16 to 18th level, so he's like 10th level fighter, 6 to 8 level wizard, something like that.
Oh, in third edition rules, so it's a lot.
Yeah, in third edition, third edition Pathfinder, because I used him in third edition Pathfinder 1 era, so it's third edition styles gameplay, so to speak. So yeah.
And I thought it was at page 68. I went right by him. Here we go.
Okay. Yeah.
So in this is pretty high. 13th fighter, 12th magic user in second edition.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I had him at he was maybe a little bit stronger fighter than wizard, but roughly that way. And he functioned in my campaign. He's the heads of the Knights of Luna, and the Knights of Luna are in my take. They are the secret doers and shakers of the throne of Selene, so to speak. So they are the queen, and Prince Brightflame is the crown prince in my take. He is the next in line in power in Selene. So he's the king to be, so to speak. And he spends some hundreds of years getting ready to take over the throne, which means that he's out there building networks, understanding the world, doing diplomacy, secret spook works, and all sorts of stuff. And the Knights of Luna Selene is this insulated realm that officially don't have much of a foreign policy at all, and don't seem to officially don't put their nose into anybody's business, but secretly they are the opposite. They are the ones that go out and help out other good realms, that both with money, intelligence, and the Knights of Luna is there to also give direct military aid when need be, and especially of the combined fighting wizard kind of thing, so to speak. So if you need to scry on someone, you need to find out things and teleport someone in or out or something like that. Knights of Luna can be, if it's in Selene's interest, and some things are, so to speak. So they are kind of the eyes and ears and hands of the Selene Empire. And in my campaign, Selene is becoming an empire. They're now gearing up to be with elves near and far, so to speak, one of the realms that it's a secret power player, and also have very close ties with Valuna and High Folk and a whole bunch of others. So that means that they are very, very powerful, and the force not be reckoned with, so to speak. So don't mess with Selene. That's because they have resources that are old and powerful that are beyond most other realms. And Melf is one of the ones that on a day-to-day basis commands these resources, so to speak. But Yolande is the long-term strategist and also the one that do a lot of ceremonial work and stuff. Melf is the power behind the throne that actually do the real work. And then when Yolande steps down, he will step up and become the formal head and the thinker, and then have to choose someone else to do the actual handiwork out there, so to speak. That seems to be that's the order I have established for my take on Selene. And it's an interesting character, so to speak. It seems to be a bit stereotypical in some ways, but I like to give him a more serious side that we've seen in other stuff, so to speak.
Doesn't say, and I always I know Melf is male elf, but
yeah, well, I know that, but we have to look beyond that. So yeah, that was one of the things that makes him have a silly kind of outlook almost when you see it like that. But I want to give him more serious clout. So okay. So yeah, he might have a real elven name and just go by Melf as the but he's Prince Brightflame or Crown Prince Brightflame. So yeah,
I'm gonna do
if Yolande ever kicks off.
Well, they meaning successions in the world of Elvendom probably takes 500 years or 300 years or something like that to do it. So,
that could
yeah,
be.
it's not done quickly, so to speak. You need to be warm up. You need to have good relations with 25 other rulers and been around the world and understand a whole bunch of stuff before you even can be in ready for the throne, so to speak. Yeah.
I am looking. I got one. Here they are. Okay, they're right next to each other. Mm-hmm. All right. So we've talked about this area of the Shieldlands before. If you're playing in the era of the wars, then you got, and Anna talks about this multiple times. You got Ringland. Ringland's here, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, and Anna's actually got heraldry.
Well, I got some heraldry and stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. But you also have you have Sir Harmon Delavan, who's 8th level ranger, and Sir Jansen Reynald, 7th level paladin. They're the two knights of the Holy Shielding, or that are stuck there in this area as the wars are going on, because Ringland's got all this defenses where evil creatures can't come in. They have an antipathy spell against them. They're the two that are in there. So you got two characters, and I've used them in my campaign post, where they're a little bit higher level, but yeah, it's a neat concept. Whoever came up with this idea of an area that's just getting farmed uninhibited by the wars and what's going on, it's a neat idea. So there are those two. One other one that I want to mention, one of Bill's favorites, is the leader of the Torch of Grumsh in the Vespi Forest, Grekton Selruk, the Torch of Grumsh, 9th level half-orc fighter. All right. So he is the leader. He has the magical Torch of Grumsh. It's an ever-smoking metal torch. It does Stinking Cloud. It can cast Stone Skin and Death Fog. So this is even nastier than the Torch of Anazander, really, when you think about it. It's nasty. And these guys, and I've said this multiple times, these orcs hate the Iusian orcs. They are Grumsh orcs. So they have a Selbit, they have no qualms with slaughtering fellow orcs, especially orcs and orogs that are of Ius. Now, my enemy is my friend. You can do whatever you want with them. We've worked a lot with them in our Vespi campaign. Once in a blue moon when we run those characters out there. So there you go. From Ius the Evil, those were. Okay. Thank you, Darth Cyrilus, for the follow. Go ahead, Mike. You are up.
Good stuff.
Yeah, bouncing around. Got a lot of good characters we're discussing tonight.
Well, where to go? As high-level fighters go, I've found in the world of Greyhawk lore, apparently there's no fighter higher level than Savord Redbeard.
Ooh, yeah.
Is he in the 5 Shelby one?
I don't know if he's directly in it. I don't think so.
Okay,
I know
he's
there are Stonefists in that.
Okay.
But he's obviously referenced in the Greyhawk Wars that follows. But in Puck said he's real high level, like 18th level, I think.
In this, he's 20 plus.
Yeah, exactly. 20 plus.
Yeah, meaning with the plus really establish him as but it's a bit like meaning you need to be the toughest one around, because otherwise you don't run the show. Someone else will.
How did he not get knocked off?
I don't know. Yeah, that's what's remarkable too.
He's so vicious that whoever challenged him, he will just chop your head off and put it on the spike
control,
outside.
and then he breaks it.
Right.
And he gets so angry that
he's mad. So at that point, I'm on his side now. I'm like, come on, Savord, let's do this.
Yeah. And to me, it's interesting that he's a fighter and not a barbarian, because it would be so natural to have him as a really, really high-powered barbarian. So when he gets angry, don't mess with him. You don't want
Yeah.
him angry because he will just go around killing everything in sight
And he
until there's no one
would be-
there to be
You're
killed.
right.
Aren't
He
stone
needs to be.
fists more like Cossacks over true what do you think of Conan barbarians though? Like the frost, snow, and ice. That's
Yeah.
I see them as power hungry, and I also see them as meaning they have orcs as their neighbors and stuff. I see them as these that they're up there and don't mess with them because they will come out and fight anything and everything. And there's enough natural things to hunt and to kill or whatever do, but if they get bored, then God helps the neighbors, so to speak. So yeah.
Okay.
A bit like Owl, that they're like a northern version of Allites in
Yes.
that ways. Yeah.
And he puts all his kids through that rite of battle fitness.
Yeah.
And it's to the death. I
Yeah,
think.
he doesn't cuddle with his kids.
That's
Meaning they need
such a
to
waste. And they all think, oh, I'll be the next hero. No, Sephora is never going to die. He's just going to keep getting higher level.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive being 20 plus in 3rd edition.
Then you kind of
that is saying something.
Mhm.
Truly saying something.
The only other I've ran a lot of epic campaigns. That's why I'm loath to talk about fighters from my campaigns because they could get up to 30th level or more.
Yeah, but I also love his title. His most grim and terrible might, Relt Sevord the First. It's just it's not fancy. It's to the point, so to speak. It's yeah.
Yes, he's
true, Tim. Barbarian types, but not barbarian class. There's a difference.
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
Absolutely.
Barbarians type. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was like I had one of my orc tribes. They simply put their little ones. They wean them off milk and they have blood and milk combined and put them in pits, and so the little kids had to fight each other, and then when they were old enough to, if they survived until they were old enough so they could climb out of the pit, then they were greeted as new members of the tribe. So they weeded out the weaklings because they didn't want any weaklings that couldn't fend for themselves. So they popped out little orclings and then they put them in there, and they basically ate each other and killed each other. And the ones that were powerful enough to come out on top, they were all greeted by all the orcs as you are now a member of the clan and the orc tribe, and you became, so you automatically like level 1 at age 4, so to speak, and you kind of they were accomplished fighters or barbarians or something similar at age 4 or 5, and they were kind of, it was all about the group effort, so to speak. Individual kids, they didn't, it was a way of securing that only the best could become part of the tribe.
So what about Tang the Horrific? What class is he? A fighter too?
There you have, and he's one of these cultural all over the place kind of. Yeah.
Let's go into Greyhawk Adventures here while we're at it with these kinds, because there's some in here. I'm almost positive he is.
They drink the tears of their enemies. Yeah, that's good, Tim. Yeah.
Tim's not doing well there mentally.
He's doing well.
Yeah. Being facetious.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Busting his stones. He's death comes quickly. All right. I know there's personalities in here. There's monster types. Whole heroes. There we go.
So Tang is definitely one of those characters that Savord would like to get his hands on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you're fighting IUs, I think Severed might be an automatic ally, so to speak. If he finds out that you're fighting IUs, he might.
At the right time.
There he is. Fighter 12, according to this.
Yeah, Tang does have a story arc.
Yeah, he does. He does have a story arc, but he's not a barbarian either, right? He's kind of got that Mongol feel to him.
He's just a fighter.
Yep.
Yep.
So, it says he's skilled knife, spear, hand axe, which are all like barbarian weapons: scimitar, short bow, short sword, spike buckler, light lance, dagger, and javelin. He has barbaric skills of his people, so he has the skills. He has all those barbarian skills that you get. A lot of them, almost every single one that's in the book. So, but he is a fighter. So
the fun thing about Barbarian class back in Honor of Arcana was the calling the horde ability.
Oh,
I
yes.
remember one of my friends played a Barbarian. He was from the Snow Barbarians, I think. And he just would constantly call hordes, and I would tell him, "You've killed all the able-bodied men," and the kingdom stopped calling hordes.
So we
times.
have Alan has his specialty priest of Cord, who got thrown out of Hardby, right, and he got banned forever from Hardby, right, a human male, from the barbarian lands. He wants to call a barbarian horde to raise Hardby, and I was like, "You're not a barbarian, you're a priest." He's like, "I'll find a way to do it. I'll find a way to do it." Like, no. Why would a barbarian horde come all the way down from the barbarian lands, all the way down to Hardby? That's thousands of miles, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it has to be like in where they can. Some of them are realistic.
There's barbarians
distance.
in the Bright Desert.
Are they barbarians?
There's Sewell barbarians.
Don't that have to be your own clan though?
Well, probably.
Yeah.
You would hope.
Yeah. So Curtis, so you got to remember, and I asked this question last night. Barbarians get double con and double dex bonuses, right? So and die 12 at hit die. So if they're 7th level, they can have 100 hit points. Yeah, 7th level barbarians nasty. Especially if you give them. I gave them a plus to hit and damage, 1 weapon specialized, not multiple attacks, but they get multiple attacks at 6th level as it is. They're nasty characters. So if they're wearing like leather and they have 18 dex, they got 0 armor class right off the bat. In old school terms, yeah. So yeah. I would make a character work it hard to make that happen. I agree. Yeah, but that's part of the special effects. It's like the quivering palm on a monk. Hey, they have it, right? All right, so I got caught off guard here with my next one. Well, I just did Tang, so there we go.
I have one that I created myself, and I can take one as an example of how you can create an NPC and put it in your campaign. And it's Glushnag the Mighty. He is the leader of the Gensal hordes, and the Gensal hordes are Gensal is a place that was created in Living Greyhawk as northeast of Critwall, a place in Shieldlands. A town in Shieldlands, and originally my backstory of the place, because the place is only mentioned in Living Greyhawk, doesn't have much of a backstory or anything. There's a couple of modules set there, but to me it's like I put it was used to be a charming little place, and it was apple orchards and stuff like that in the valleys around, and they have an apple tree on their heraldry and in my campaign. And then during the war, it became the seat of the Gensal hordes, who were Iusians, who Ius had dedicated a bunch of hobgoblins to lead the siege on Critwall. And then when the Critwall, the Shieldlanders were powerful enough to push them back, so to speak. But they're still hanging out in Gensal, and the leader of the Gensal hordes, who are a bunch of really tough hobgoblins who survived the war, so to speak, and no one else wanted to be there, but the Glushnag the Mighty, with his few thousand of his hobgoblin warriors, stayed there, still on the job. And originally in my campaign, they were actually from the Horn Society. So they were some of the shock troops from Horn Society, but they served Ius well in the early wars, so he had strong, and they don't, not too demanding, so to speak, when it comes to want to plunder and loot in a way, because they have some other hidden purposes that I will spoil that later, so to speak, what their real purposes are. But Glushnag the Mighty, he is a 13th level barbarian. He's a damn good war leader. He takes care of his underlings.
Wow,
he's lawful evil, and his purpose is that he wants to be seen by his underlings as the best fighter ever. He's a spear specialist, and he fights with a long spear that he can throw much longer than usual. He's very, very, very strong, so to speak. So he's 21 strength, and he has a vicious spear of returning, that he throws it and he comes back again, and when he calls it back, it does 1 extra damage because he has barbs and stuff. So when he throw it and it hits, and then he can call it back again, and he rips it out backwards. So it's basically doing a critical hit on you when he calls it back. So and he can do that as a bonus action each round. So he can call it back, and with that possibly he's damn, and he also has a demonic armor vest, so to speak, that gives him some with a powerful demon that he got angry at and got into a fight, so he killed it and skinned it himself and had the demon armor made, so to speak. So he's more the individual type, and he's very loyal to his underlings and protects them and want them to thrive. So he's a rare breed in the humanoids in that way, and his underlings, they adore him. His hobgoblin fighters, they want to serve him. It's an honor among hobgoblins to serve him, and he's very keen on doing it. So and he's a show off in a bit. His ears are cut off and scarified, and a lot of his face, and he has scarifications and stuff like that. So he has both hideous but very high charisma among hobgoblins.
Where's Skensel Horde in the Shieldlands? It's not on my map. Northwest?
It's south. Go south a bit.
It's not on my map.
It should be there somewhere. West of Larden, there should be.
Yeah. I don't. It's not on my map because
it's there. It's there.
Right
Yeah,
Okay.
It should be there. Yeah.
Wow.
So I took it from a living Greyhawk and then ran with it, so to speak, in development. So Glushnag the Mighty is one that I took from.
Very cool. Mike?
So I have an interesting one to talk about that I know Jay knows. So earlier I talked about Bruiserog being this badass gladiator. Well, here's another gladiator for you, Loris Rachman.
Yes.
Right?
Ooh.
Yes.
He's the champion of the City of Greyhawk.
Age of Worms. Age of Worms and Expedition to Ruins and Expeditions to Ruins of Greyhawk.
And then makes a cameo in Expeditions to Ruins of Greyhawk. But here's what Jay probably doesn't realize. In Expeditions to Ruins of Greyhawk, he goes down in level.
Oh, he gets strained?
Oh.
He's 13th level in Age of Worms, and he's 12th level in Expedition.
I think they say that something happens to him. He has an encounter with something down in one of those levels. Is that possible?
Yeah, maybe. I didn't really into it. I was just looking at levels.
Yeah.
So if so,
he's on the cover of a dungeon, correct?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, I want to know what dungeon number that is, and I'll bring it up.
The number.
Yeah, he's on from the Age of Worms era, so he's a bad dude. He's like neutral evil or something.
He's pretty. Yeah, he's
trying to take over all of Greyhawk in that Age of Worms, right? He tries to.
Well, I don't know how big his aspirations was. But
right, and
he
then
was definitely exiled.
Because Eric Mona and crew had him fleeing down into the depths of Castle Greyhawk to get away from being, captured by the authorities.
Yeah, he's wanted. He's
right.
You will get a bounty. Go get him.
And Lavashti and the and what's her name, the simulacrum of Igwolf are using him as basically a pawn down there, if I recall correctly. The story. That's a great one. No, he's evil. He's dumb evil too. I mean, he's not kind of stupid, but he's just like I do this for power. It's some great pictures.
Big brute fighter.
Yeah. Give me a second. I don't know if I can bring it up in time, but let me see. Let me see if I can do this. Expeditions. I mean, it's a great picture. It's a great picture in Expeditions Ruins of Greyhawk, but I'm gonna have to search through the. Good one, Mike. That's a real good one. And I think he was meant to be utilized. As a pit fighter of some sort. Oh my gosh, where is he? Wasn't
he like the retired champion or something like that?
Yeah,
he's just kind of running
down. There, look at that! I found him pretty quick. There we go. There's a picture of him. Yeah. So, and that's down at Rachman's retreat. He's basically on his own down there. Which means if you're in a party, you'd have no trouble taking him out when you're like 5 and 6 on one. But yeah. So it says, until a few years ago, Loris was a well-respected public figure, a gladiator who had earned his fame in the Free City. Then his fate crumbled when a band of heroes posing as gladiators revealed that he had allied with agents of the worm god Kias. Yeah, well, that'll ruin your day. So, yep. Rachman fled north of Castle Greyhawk, hoping to throw off his pursuers, lie low. So, yep. This is what I liked about the Mona Paizo Hawk era, which was another question last night, was that they tied in different, they used characters they used over, which is good. Party! Yep. Age of Worms Adventure 5. All right, cool. But there he is. Great one, Mike. Very good. Let's go here. I'm going to go to the Free City of Greyhawk box set for one of mine. Boom. Excuse me. Second book. Let's go to the second book. All these baddies here. Entertainment. Going to the
while Jay's looking through that, I'll quickly throw out, while Loris Rachman is wanted by the City of Greyhawk for crimes, another fighter who is wanted for his crimes is Sir Bluto.
Yeah.
Find in White Plume Mountain.
Yep.
Oh,
Bluto.
okay.
Yep.
So here is, we have a ranger. These are members of the Fellowship of the Torch. All right. One of them is a dual class human, which Nastasia Ariani Nightstar, magic fighter / magic user. She's I believe started as a magic user, then switched over to fighter. I have her a little higher level, and then Garen is ranger, a ranger, the 5th. They're a little bit higher level from the Ashes, but this is where their stats are originally. So, and this is the first that I have ever found. The Torch of Anaxander is the first scalable magic item in Greyhawk that I'm aware of, because this goes up with levels with her wielding it. This is an adventuring group. There are 5 of them, and here's we'll talk about Grimmy in a future one when we do rogues. So we have a couple spellcasters, but there are the fighters in the group, which is I said I love this detail in this book, this box set, and the From the Ashes. They really do some detail and some great personalities in these books. One other one, a Paladin, who unfortunately Sargent decided to kill off, who is not dead in my game, and that's Valderessa Sharon, Knight of the Holy Shielding. With Artur Jakartai. There's the picture I always show of the 2 of them, right? This is in that weird era where the Horns.
The Holy Shielding should have a short lifespan, though.
Yeah, that's true. But this is in that era before Eyes has overtaken it, and in this box set it says that the Horn Society is overtaking the Shield Lands, which it's just a little strange, yeah. She's 9th level Paladin in here. I think I got her a level or 2 higher now. Just a cool character, and a Paladin, lawful good, and a senior member of the Holy Shielding, and is basically one of the oligarchs. I have a council of 3 that rules the Shield Lands now, and she's one of the 3, along with Katarina and Mark's character, David Gradivus II. So there you go there. So that's some out of the Free City Greyhawk box set, which is a wonderful. Which Anna and I are going to use this template to make the Altamira box set. I love. I'm not saying we're stealing stuff. But I'm saying it's very well done. We're going to use a lot of ideas out of here. So, what do you got, Anna?
Now I'm trying to find something that I was thinking of, but go on. I'm going to see if I can find this.
All right, go ahead there, Mike. You got one?
All right, so we talked. I know someone throughout like Melf and whatnot, but have we really talked about any dwarves?
We have not. So let's do it.
Half orcs, half ogres.
We've talked about half orcs, half ogres.
Yeah.
No dwarves yet.
Dwarf and NPC I could find of any appreciable level is Holgi Hirsute, the ruler of the Iron Hills, who's 15th level.
So he's not an Iron Gate. He's what publication?
Iron Hills.
Yeah,
This is Living Great Gazette.
LGG. Okay.
Yeah.
Why don't I have that on my quick notes?
So I don't
here?
really know
Sorry.
much about this character. I'm sure that people have used him in their own view, but
Let's see what it says about the Iron Hills here.
he would have to be kind of like
Here we go.
in Tolkien. He's like Dane of the Iron Hills, right? He's that badass fighter who, will only show up if it makes him look good, kind of thing. He's not intimidated by orc army.
He's 15th, you said?
15th.
Yeah.
Of course, in 3rd edition, everything's a little more jacked up.
Look at this. There's in the 1980 box set. That's it in the Iron Hills right there. One little teensy paragraph. Most of the hills are in the hands of the Iron Lake, very high-grade ores taken from the mines and several sorts of precious metals. Dwarves and gnomes do much of the mining. That's all it says. That's great that it's been expanded on.
Yep.
Yeah.
15th level. Okay. That's pretty nasty. Dwarven fighter.
And, I'm sure if someone did some digging around, you could find a higher level dwarf than that, but he rules sort of a nation, I guess.
Well, it's just like that's a realm, right? You have the Caracas, Graysmere, Dumadan. They're considered realms too, even though they're just the underground, the dwarven city states, right? For the most part, just in the dwarven, So yeah, absolutely. And Iron Hills is a lot bigger than any of those. So yeah, they made all the demi-human books after Forgotten Realms became the. Yeah, well, true. All right, Anna, you found what you were looking for.
Yeah, I was thinking, going back in history, one of the most famed old Greyhawk history of fighters that are great renown that are now history because he was destroyed by none other than Vecna himself trying to kill off Vecna, and I'm talking about Khas the Terrible.
Okay.
And he was a fighter of renown back in the day. So I think it's kind of cool to sometimes go back and think in history, and I think he's one of these kind of iconic fighter types of Greyhawk history back in the day, and I think it was one really evil dude most of his career, and then he was trying to, I don't know if he was trying to kill Vecna for any good reasons, probably just because it was just a power struggle, but at least he did something well, and only that he's the reason that only the Hand and the Eye survived, I think, so of Vecna. So but I think it's one of these, if you look back in history, as one of the fighter types that have been most renowned, and he was probably the most known fighter in its day in Greyhawk back during Vecna rule, so to speak, 2,000 years or 1800 years ago.
Probably was a fighter without peer back then.
Exactly.
Right.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And his sword still exists, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep.
I never read any lore on that. Is that what that comic it has? Does the comic have that lore in it?
But it's an unfinished comic.
Oh, it's unfinished.
Yeah, I think there was supposed to be a part 2, and they never.
Oh, so it's kind of like the it's kind of like the Bakshi movie that ends at the at the battle of what they go Helm's Deep, and it's like, oh, that's it. We're not going to do the second half. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
No cost.
And Onson, I love that. I'm going to tell you something. That article, and I discussed this when we did Shieldlands. That article gave me the idea to back convert that prestige class to its own, the knight as its own class in 1E2E, which I did, and made that Knight of the Holy Shielding, Knight of Eula class, Knight of Heart class from that article that you're talking about with the Franz Torkeep. I have his picture on here somewhere. He's got that big neck. Yeah, definitely. I just can't. I don't know why I can't pull up my Shieldlands guys. So it's a good one. In fact, I'm in the Dread Realms and is an only known person who escaped when he became a deity. That is future, that is post Greyhawk.
Yeah, there's
lore. Pull it out of Greyhawk lore, right? I think
whole storyline.
Yeah, that's the storyline beyond any Greyhawk books and all that, I believe, which is okay.
But
is the Dread Realm the same as Ravenloft?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I would say so.
Everyone goes to Raven. Everyone ends up in Ravenloft. Yeah.
So yeah, everything you want to know about Cost the Terrible, though, I just linked there in that comic.
Very cool. Excellent, Mike. That was a good one, Anna. Very good one. All right. Let me see if I've picked and chosen. I'm not going to talk about any of my PCs. It's not the place for it. There's a lot of. I think.
We have. Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Anna. What were you gonna say?
We have one other. I use half sister. I think it is.
Oh, that's the one. Yes. Okay. So.
But, oh yeah.
Home run.
But I'm not talking about my creation. I'm talking about the one.
That's Drelsna.
Yeah.
You picked the one I forgot.
She's the fighter, I think.
Let me go to Showcanth. You hit the nail on the head, Anna. Thank you. That's a great pickup there. Thank you so very much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, that was one I had on my list, and it slipped me. All right, and it's got some of the greatest artwork ever. So let me switch here.
Definitely. Yep.
Okay.
Perfect.
So this is so. There we go. All right, there's Drelsna, right? One of the ones that it's a shame you kill her in this adventure, like this in Lareth the Beautiful. I always said, "Oh, it's a shame." But where's her stats? Right here. 13th level fighter, plus a vampire. So she attacks with a weapon, which I believe is an Unholy Reaver. It's best for +4. Say lawful good clerics. Just as nasty. So she can attack with a weapon, and if you specialize her at 13th level, she gets 5 attacks every 2 rounds with it, and she can touch in their secondary hand to drain. So nasty cat. Run around with slippers of spider climbing on. Once again, though, it's one character against a whole party.
Wait, so why she need slippers of spider climbing?
Because you're in that bubble. You're in that. Look, you're in that. See how you're down here? You're in a dome. You're in a dome. You're up top. You're in a dome. She's at the bottom of the dome.
But she's a vampire.
Vampires don't fly.
Vampires could spider climb on their own. Oh well.
Yep. So great antithesis for this adventure. Wall of Fame discussion coming up on this too.
Yeah, great.
Yeah,
I was thinking we haven't talked about. Sorry,
this is Eastleigh. This is one of the best Eastleighs ever. I mean, it's
fantastic. Oh yeah, I totally agree. It's fantastic.
Make sure.
You probably free-handed that too.
What's that?
You probably free-handed that.
Yeah,
it's amazing. It's amazing, amazing artwork.
Yeah.
Daoud's fine jewelry. Yeah, there's Daoud's wondrous lanthorn here, right here too. You know, and there's a prison of Zagig sitting around here somewhere too. So the prison of Zagig is here, and there's also a prison of Zagig and expeditions down in the bottom of Castle Greyhawk too. Yep, both. All right, Anna, what were you going to say?
I was going to say we haven't talked about a dwarf, but I mentioned a dwarf, and I didn't realize until now that he's actually Omni. Exactly, Omni is another one, and he's kind of a fighter of renown. At least he's damn good at swinging that mace of his and killing things in the code books.
If I recall, in Casey's Saltmarsh games, he slaughters a bunch of the player characters all the time.
Okay, yeah, he's.
What is he supposed to be?
Let me look in Eyes the Evil. He may be in here. I think he is.
Cathay, someone mentioned him in chat before, and then we've kind of avoided it.
Yeah, we kind of avoided it because it's all over the place.
But if anyone could beat Turish, or not Turishmak, if anyone could beat Savord Redbeard, it's probably Robolor.
Yeah.
Shadowclaw. I'm shooting in the dark here where he is. There's a whole listing of the Shadowclaw and the. Oh, let me see if it's. Yeah. I'm not sure what page it's on. I think he's only like 9.9 or 9.10 in here, if I recall. But I don't remember. I don't remember where the Bone Shadow. Yeah, the Bone Shadow's in here somewhere, but it's not in the table of contents. So I thought it was at the end of Lands of Ayus. Hornlands. I'm going through real quick here. Does anyone know what page it's on? Yeah. Yeah. All right, I'm not going to just search continuously here for it, but I think that's the level he was. It's 910.
Okay.
It's a guess.
So he's not like ultra high. That's what I'm driving at. He's
11-9.
credible,
Close. Yeah.
Mid-level threat for players.
Yeah, and he works on his own too. So, and he's not one that is like going to go head to head with a whole group of adventurers. He's going to be, with the thief abilities, he's going to be very sneaky about it. So definitely going. All right, so let's do it. Let me try and find Rary the Trader on my machine, and let's bring it up because I know that's probably the best place to get Roblar stats to start. Right? Sound
Maybe.
good? First edition. I may not even have it. I may not have it on here. I don't think that may be one I don't have in PDF, believe it or not. Huh. What level is he in? Yeah, I don't think I have him. I don't have, that's one of the few I do not have in PDF at all. It's Ready to Trader. Yep. So what is he 18th?
I've seen a variety of different levels on him.
He's an expedition into the ruins of Greyhawk. But once again, in expeditions, they want you to believe that he's the Bizarro world, right? His name is Bolaro instead. Yeah, because he's really not the real one. The real one's trapped in there, and you can free him at the end of the adventure. That was the kind of like one of the things that people are like, I don't know if I like that or not, right? So it's one of those you have to decide if that is something that you are in favor of or against. An expedition to the ruins of Greyhawk. So I don't know if I can. And that is, that's a bone of contention for a lot of people. Because early on in this adventure, he is here. That's Captain Gallons. That is Roblar. All right, in this adventure.
Oh, that's cool.
The Gallons facade is easily penetrated by characters of true seeing, for Lord Roblar's entire appearance is the product of his hat of disguise. Okay, so this is the mirrored Roblar that's been around, and that explains why he helped Rary kill off Warduke. That's what they kind of describe. So yeah, Roblar is not in fact Roblar, but has not been for some time. About 15 years ago, Roblar accompanied a cadre of monks from the Darkmoon Monastery. The monks believed that their deity Suwoken remained in prison under the castle. So, and then Roblar discovered a mirrored artifact called the Orb of Opposition, a key to mysterious worlds, only a few steps removed from his own. So, he got switched with a lawful evil double known as Bolaro, and that's who has been the Roblar all these years. That's kind of the workarounds. Is it? Yeah.
Hey, conveniently, there is a Bolaro.
Iron Band of Bolaro.
Iron
right?
Bands.
Yeah. Yeah. So there you go. So you can do it however you want it in here, but yeah, this guy was, Roblar in disguise, but not the true Roblar. So you can argue with Eric Mona on that one. But Roblar is so much lore about him, I guess they tried to do some justice with him on that, and I can understand why. Someone, one of that group, either Jacobs or Bowman or Mona, really did not like Roblar. Didn't see why Roblar would help Rary destroy Tensor and Daladon, I guess. And they're like, oh, we're gonna do this. So it is complicated. It's a mess. They tried to fix things because that was the last publication that was going to happen, and so they tried to do as many things as they could. Yeah. All right. So, we have any other ones we want to discuss here?
Here's a link to my Castle Greyhawk webcomic I did with Scott Casper.
Nice.
Roblar is one of the main characters in that.
Awesome.
He's more of an adventuring type, so I guess he's the knowing Scott, he's the good Robolar that you would expect. But he's still kind of a bastard, I guess. You know, he's kind of does whatever makes him the most money. He's a mercenary. So check that out.
Kuntz character. Yeah, Rob Kuntz. Yep. Yeah, he's in the Rogues Gallery as well, which we haven't even gone to and touched.
Yeah, I've seen like him listed at 15th level, 19th level, 20th level. You know, he's all over the place.
So let's go there. If I can get there. We'll go to the Rogues Gallery because there's one of the coolest fighters of all, which we haven't even mentioned yet. I'm just trying to make sure I have it on my machine here. Let me go first edition folder. I should have it here. All right. This is a great book back in the day.
Oh, you mean Rogues Gallery? Yeah.
Yeah. So there. Hey, we have our lizard man Phoebus. He's a fighter. What's up, Agora? What are you on break? Oh, okay. Well, that's good. We'll right into it when we're done here. Phoebus, player Jeff Leeson's character. So 10th level fighter. And then he got reincarnated as a lizard man instead of he was originally a human. Yep. And so pretty cool character. Who is this? That's a diesel. That's a diesel one. Yes. So he's reincarnated a druid, not a mage, because the tables are a little different. So that was a neat one as well. And I think Les Silver in the Dark is he multi-class? Oh, class is this not? No, I'm sorry. I mean Lanolin. Lanolin's a fighter mage. So Lanolin, who's Schick's character, he's Catholic evil. He's an elf fighter mage. So and level 711, and yeah, nice to have some evil people in here. Yeah, really cool. Lots of items, and this guy is there's a picture of him. Do anyone know who G.K. Fleming is? He did the artwork for Lanolin here. So, oh shit, you guys didn't. Sorry, I'm like looking here, and you guys are. I don't even have it up. My bad. Lanolin. All right, so here's Lanolin. My bad. Lanolin. Sorry. Fighter mage, Catholic evil, 711. Schick's character, Phoebus, who is Jeff Leeson's character, 10th level fighter. Yep. Lord Dorag is another one. Eric's, yeah, there's a lot in here. This is great. I mean, just if you get a hold of this and just go through and you go, wow, what characters here? Talbot, here's another one reincarnated, a fighter, 7th level, and is a centaur now. Yep. So was lawful good, and then became Catholic neutral because couldn't handle it, and is now got reincarnated. So you got another fighter there. Some neat stuff in this book, and one of the first ones I ever had as a kid, which was neat because you had all these characters and just all pre-done with stats. I mean, oodles and oodles of them. So you were able to make them up pretty quickly, and there's just such. I mean, this has got some of the best artwork in it out of anywhere, especially back in the day. So that's a mess. Yep, a Rogues Gallery. So on Monday night, we almost got 80 people on. That's awesome. Thank you. What do we say in summary here, Anna and Mike? As we start this week off of 5 streams.
Yeah.
Lots going on. Fighters. They're a great base for establishing who, for player characters to aspire to. These rulers, these heroes are whatever level and they rule countries. Those are supposed to be the examples that Gygax wanted your fighter when he got to 9th level. He wanted them to be rulers of countries as well and have their own castles and things.
Lord status goes right to the fighter. That was the
Yeah.
first one. Was the fighter was the Lord. And then definitely Mike. Our first character was a fighter.
Aloha.
Yeah, aim small, miss small. There goes Tim. There goes Tim quoting the Patriot. Yeah. What class, Tim, was Mel Gibson's character in the Patriot? All right, let's see what Tim says. He's gonna come with something. Probably a bandit. Ranger. Okay, that's good. Monk. I don't know about monk. That's funny. So Anna, how about in closing for fighters, rangers, and paladins? We went over a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, but in a way, it was a bit harder than I thought to find some of them, because it's funny. I thought that fighters and their kin were everywhere, but now when I'm starting to look, it's like wizards and clerics everywhere. So I thought there were fighters would outnumber the other ones by a long shot, but it seems to be fairly even when it comes to notable NPCs. The Greyhawk is full of wizards and clerics, it seems like, when you're looking for fighters. So, but it might just be my assumption. When you're looking for something, you can't find it as much as you want it. So
yeah, we didn't
throw this out real quick, Jay.
Yeah, go for it.
So Aloha said first character was a paladin, Grump, and then it made me think back when I was in junior high, and one of my earliest like 1E Greyhawk campaigns, I used the Arthurian legends. The characters from Arthurian legend was in my world of Greyhawk. So here we are with characters like King Arthur, 14th level paladin, Galahad, 20th level paladin.
With he gets 3 attacks per round, doesn't he, Galahad?
So.
Yeah.
Lancelot, 20th level paladin.
Yeah.
A lot of paladins.
Gawain's a fighter, I think.
Gawain is a 17th level fighter.
Yeah. How about Gareth? I think Gareth's either, is he a fighter? I think Gareth's a fighter too.
Just close the book.
It's okay. Yeah, no, I loved that back in the day. Because remember, this is 1980. We're freaking 12. I'm 12, 13 years old.
Yeah.
Don't know. Yeah.
Let's
fight
Excalibur.
King Arthur.
Excalibur is one of my favorite movies. So yeah, I'm using those characters.
Absolutely. No, that was so charming back in the day. I remember when we were 13. That's a funny story, Mike. I remember when we were 12, 13 years old, and read King Arthur's description, and it says his shield is a gold dragon right on it. So Alan, back in the day, goes, well, that means it's a gold dragon just shape changed into a shield. I'm like, no, it doesn't.
Oh,
it just means there's a gold dragon on his shield. I remember we fought like for an hour over that. I was like, no, it's not a gold dragon. It's just the shield is a gold dragon. That's his probably, yeah. So, hey, it's okay, man. I understand that. Yep. So, yeah, but you're right. There were super high level characters in there. Not many. Merlin and Morgan Le Fay were the only 2 that were spellcasters for the most part.
Yeah.
But it was very few clerics, if any. Yeah. So that was great. Absolutely great. I had a guest over. My wife and I, we had guests over on Friday night, and her friend's husband went down to my basement. I have all the posters up. He looks over. He looks up, and I have 13th Warrior and Knight Riders and originals. Right in between that, I have the original Excalibur poster. He looks at it. He's like, is that an original? I go, yeah. He goes, that's my favorite movie of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And he starts ripping off Helen Mirren and Jean-Luc Picard. Sorry, I should know his name.
Patrick Stewart.
Patrick Stewart and Liam Neeson, and he's like, I was like, wow, yeah, you're absolutely correct. Yeah, we may do monks with the rogues, because if we don't have a topic, guess what you're going to get next Monday. You're going to get thieves. Did we do thieves?
Rogues and bards.
Did we do rogues and bards?
I think so.
Maybe we've done. Yeah, I'm now we've almost done every topic at least once, so we're on the second round.
Well, you know
here,
what we
so,
can
yeah.
do? We can do offbeat classes. We could do assassins.
The
and
leftovers.
assassins and monks or something weird.
Hmm.
You know, we could do some of the offbeat ones that are in there because there are a bunch of assassins and there are
So
a bunch of
deep
monks.
dive the Scarlet Brotherhood by Sharon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, Ben, but there are no necromancers in Greyhawk, but there are necromancers in Mayan, and so that's a Gavin topic where I've done a whole necromancer show, and it was not that long ago. So if you look through Gavin's, you'll find
months,
it.
some months ago, yeah, but not that far.
Yeah,
I remember
absolutely.
it. Yeah.
So you know, that's one that I mean, there's some characters who could be necromancers, but it was never done. Yeah, it's a real good one too, and you know, with some other discussions. Yeah, my dirty fighting classes. Yes, tons of them. We have Saxons and Cavaliers and Duelists, and we have all different sorts of fighting classes. Show where the topic is the house rules we all use. Well, yeah, and I think Aloha. I don't know if you can watch on Sundays, but I think that would be more of a Gavin discussion, the Legends and Lore one on house rules. I have no problem doing stuff like that. You know, going back to that. So, thank you, Zump. Thank you. So, all right, we'll do some shout outs here real quick, then we'll do the giveaway. We got you get your choice of these two. We're gonna do one tonight. So you get your choice of Journey to the Rock or the Veiled Society and the Lost City and Deep Dwarven Delve. You get your choice of those two. Okay. And if you're out of the continental US, we'll work something out. All righty. So Mike, what is up?
Well, what is up? What is up is while everyone was talking, I finally got that Commodore Oratoro posted.
Oh, nice.
On Greyhawkery. So there you go. Sea Prince's Fighter.
Awesome.
Oh,
nice job.
For your campaign pleasure.
Look at that multitasking. That's awesome.
Yeah. So other than that, just gonna enjoy the extra time off now. I feel like this is we played on Monday Night Football, and now I get an extra rest for the next game.
Yeah,
or maybe
well,
not. Since we're doing another Monday, aren't we?
Yes, because next week is my son's recital for his jazz band. So yeah, these next 2 Wednesdays are definitely booked up, and I'd rather have it on Monday than cancel. You know, so and this worked out pretty well. Absolutely, I appreciate you coming on Monday.
We'll have to do another Monday.
Anna,
I'm working. The most of the week have been. There's 2 projects. There's the Altamira, and then we'll see. I'm going to do now. I'm going to the fantasy mapping show is still, the topic is still under discussion, so to speak. So, but there will be an Altamira project update on Friday, because there's some cool progress made, so to speak, and Jay hasn't seen it yet.
That's awesome. I can't wait.
Yep. So we'll see. And also there's a 598 map works in the works. I've been starting to work on that and realize it's always a bigger project than I thought, but it's underway. So that's a problem. There's some big projects that take some time, but I'm going to stick in this week. I'm going to do some heraldry, and I'm going to start do some other little write-ups, so there will be something to publish, because there is a lot of things now. We're wrapping up the atlas with the index and stuff. So there's right now it's in the lull, and people, my patrons and stuff, haven't got any post in almost like a week. And that is not because I'm doing something else. It's because I'm working really hard on big projects. So that's the problem with a lot of the stuff that I do. That there are some times when you have to work several months before there's really something to show, and then all of a sudden you get like a big chunk of stuff, so to speak. And so now there's like 2 big projects that takes the majority of time: the 598 map and the Altamira project. But there's also a new mysterious Greyhawk project that I'm ramping up. It's a secret one. No one knows about it. Only one from the community that kind of got me to gave me the idea and the inspiration. And I'm taking my newfound skills from the Altamira project, and I'm going to do it as a little side thing, and we'll see where it leads. But it can be a real fun little project. So yeah, that will benefit the community down the line. Yeah. Well, we don't know which shape it will take, but it's ramping up. Yeah. It's not a biggie, but it's a cool one. So yeah.
Lots of great stuff. And you know, I'm excited to see what you got cooking on for that upcoming Legends and Lore. It's very exciting.
It's a 1 year anniversary show.
Yes,
so,
it is our 1 year anniversary show. We'll do some shout outs here. So, real quick, here we go. So I got some up close. I got some really cool up close pictures. This is the ongoing adventure that we have for Thursday. Portents of a Great Apocalypse Part 4. As the group is finally breached into this ruined keep and fighting. You know, you got all sorts of nasties. Etten, hill giant, mountain giant over here, giant two-headed troll. You know, a giant troll back here. All sorts of stuff. Coming in into the keep as they breached inside. So we're going to continue that Thursday. It's really weird not saying what's going on Wednesday because there isn't anything going on Wednesday. That's Thursday. Friday night is Fantasy Mapping Show, and we have 1 year in. So episode 12. You know, that's the title. When you don't, see, Anna, you make up a title and you run with it, right? And I do that with a lot of adventures. Yes.
Yeah, it was like I realized it's episode 12. We've done it for years, so it's 1 year in.
Too easy. That's funny, miss. So after that, though, Saturday night. This is where we start really cranking up the week even more. So we have Alyssa Faden on 2 nights. We continue the adventures of 2 Drink Minimum. Adventure 955, No Good Deed. Our special guest, Alyssa Faden. She's playing a Paladin. Katarina Von Kessel, cousin to Millicent Von Kessel. And the group will be in Carrowood to start as they, from their last adventure at Falling Crest, they've left the Druid's Defile, headed south to Carrowood, and have stopped there on the way to Altamira when they will run into Alyssa's character, Katarina, who will ask a simple request of the group. And that's how the adventure will start for Saturday night. Please note the following. When you see this terrain Saturday, please note that something is up in Bill Master Crafter's warped head. All right. So I have to use this stuff. And you've probably seen somebody's like, look what I did. And I'm like, oh my God, man. Note, I had to figure out how to use it in an adventure because I can't let it go to waste. You'll see Saturday night, you'll be like, oh my gosh. So it'll be a fun one though. This is going to be a more darker adventure, I think, but that'll be a blast. Yes, it'll definitely be a fun one. So that'll be on Saturday, and then Sunday night we just continue to get bigger. Roger Moore is on Sunday night. Come with your questions ready, and that'll be that'll end the five streams of this week. Looking forward to that. Yep, that'll be a real blast. I'm looking to see if we got an update. Nope, no update on reaching out to someone else trying to get the Wizards 3 adventure done. The Gabbin, I had a Gabbin set for this one, and then when Roger was available, I pushed that one back a week. Yep, Roger Moore is confirmed. So the week after that, I'm going to start my deep dive into the Wall of Fame. My 24 adventures on the Wall of Fame. We're going to start with Hamlet and Temple of Elemental Evil because it's so early in my campaign, and we're just going to talk about how to expand it, things that happened, plot lines, how you can grow your campaign around it. I want to really deep dive into those adventures, and that'll be the first 2. I'll do 2 to 4 each time, and there'll be a filler adventures for when filler discussions on a Sunday night. We don't have any great guests coming up, but right after that, I'm hoping the week after that to have the Wizards 3 adventure discussion with Ed Greenwood, Jim Ward, and a third guest. We're working on that. So, yeah, Dark Tower for 5e is cool, man. But Tim and I have the original Dark Tower, which is awesome. I'm on my Wall of Fame, as you know. So it's good to see that they re-released it for 5th edition. So that's what's going on, everyone. Then June 11th, we got the Slav Squad back. So right now, no special guest. It's going to be the base 6 characters, but we may get one. We may get a special guest still. And I kind of named that one. But you know, the name can change on that one too. It's a TBD as we're a couple weeks out on that one. So that's what's going on. Let's do the giveaway. Last call. Dorgrim, little bits and pieces, man. There's no reason why you can't go back and forth to it. We'll talk about that in a couple weeks. Seriously, there's no you don't have to just do the whole thing. I don't think you do. So, yeah, there would be way around that. Oh, and also, Roger Moore. I said this last night. Roger Moore, when he's on, thanks to benefactor Troy, we are giving away a real print Return of the Eight because you can't get it in reprint.
Ooh.
Yeah. Okay. It is a real one. Yep. All right. Last call. Yep. That'll be good. Alrighty, let's close this out. You got in, Stefan? And the winner tonight. And Gamescape 3D is the giveaway for Thursday night. So we'll have some really cool things coming up with them. Here we go. Dorgrim! Congrats, man. You tell me which two you want.
Dorgrim.
Yep.
Nice.
You can tell me if I whisper.
Well done.
All right. Journey of the Rock, Veiled Society, Lost City, and Deep Dwarven Delve. 2 of those. All right. Hopefully you don't have all of them. And congratulations, Dorgrim. And let's raid into Agora Quest, which used to be Pearland Adventures. Sean, good guy, as his adventures going, old school. Dark Delve and Lost City. Got it. I'll get them out. Deep Dwarven Delve. I'll get them out tomorrow. Thank you all for persevering on a Monday night, and we'll see you Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday night coming up, and then Monday. So actually, it's 5 more straight nights for next week. Yeah, I'll be like,
yep.
Huh. Yeah. Thank you all for the wonderful support, and we'll see you all soon. Couple days, 2 days off, and we'll be back. Jay's gonna hit the wrong button. All right, Raiden, sit tight. If you have not given Sean a follow, please do when you get there. Oh, thank you. I try to be a machine, man. That's part of it. Gotta do it. Yes, thank you, Kurtz. Really appreciate the support.
Thank you. Yep.
All right, let's set the raid up. We're almost 8,100, which is great. So we'll get that very soon. Sweet. All right, 54, 55, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See you Thursday night. Have a good one.